Hello everyone, and welcome back to Victoria 3. I was challenged recently by a person in the comments, which you can see right now, to play as Great Britain and basically become the world police. So that's what we're going to do today. So the rules are basically that I have to join every single war on the defending side and try to maintain the status quo. Also, since I'm becoming the world police, gonna be Mr. Nice Guy the whole time, I was gonna add in that I have to say the nice option in every single random event. I'm going to consider it a win if we make it to 1875, which is when the game starts to slow down, without going bankrupt or getting conquered. So let's get started. For research, I'm going to start with the water tube boilers so I can start extracting more from the mines. Then I'm going to work on mechanized workshops. Then I'm going to work towards reinforced concrete and electrical generation. Laws are pretty fine for the most part. I'm gonna drop down the citizenship law down to multiculturalism if I can, if not then cultural exclusion at least. That's gonna be my main aim. I would also like to increase enfranchisement, get universal suffrage, like to get rid of child labor, women's rights and stuff, and I'd also like to switch over to public schools, which I think is gonna be the first thing I do. Actually, no, I'm gonna go for this is going to radicalize the religious people, so I'm going to go to racial segregation. And at some point, I'm going to take a detour and try to get ironclads as soon as I can, because they're going to be very, very helpful for protecting our island. We already have a very high balance of plus 57k, so I'm going to get rid of some of these consumption taxes. So get rid of the ones on luxury, furniture, and clothes, and we're still making a lot, so get rid of the one on tea. And can we do liquor too? Yep, looks like it. As for construction, the first thing I'm going to build is going to be a railway in home counties because it has low infrastructure. So we have 91% market access, which is bad. We want it to be at 100% all the time. If it's not at 100%, then that means that stuff can't come out and stuff can't go in, which, as you might imagine, is kind of a problem. After that railway, I'm going to build a few lead mines up here in Lancashire. And those lead mines are going to be used to produce glass, which I'm just going to put in the same place for simplicity. Also, before I go any further, I just want to mention that it is spring turning into summer, and I have bad environmental allergies, so sorry if I sound kind of nasally. I can't really help it though. Tooling workshops are very helpful. I'm going to build a few of those, and then some shipyards just everywhere. Also, government administration is going to be very, very important because currently Ireland is not incorporated, and I would very much like to incorporate it. So these are going to be high priority. That looks good. All right, time to speed the game up a little bit, and let's go. Oldenburg wants an alliance. You know, I really want to say no to this, but I said that I have to say yes to everything, so sure. Currently, our standard of living is pretty low at 11.4, but most of the goods they're paying for are below average price, so I believe the reason a lot of them are impoverished is because they are unemployed. As we can see here, 3 million of them, which is 11% of my total population, are living below the expected standard of living, which means they're either peasants or unemployed. Let's start incorporating Northern Ireland. That won't be controversial. Russia wants a trade agreement, sure. We do have a pretty big deficit right now, so I'm going to add a consumption tax back on liquor and then another one on opium. Speaking of opium, the Opium Wars. So we're going to be the nice people here. We are not going to pick this option. We are going to be nice and stop exporting drugs to the Chinese. Ordinarily, I'd pick this option for this event, inefficient agriculture, because this one gives you 5% upper strata radicals, which isn't a whole lot, but it is something. I'd rather just take the hit to approval. But since I gotta say yes to everything, I'm going to click this. And I'm going to mention it. Our income has shot up a good bit, so I'm going to remove the liquor tax, but I'm going to keep the opium tax since I don't want people smoking it anyway. We now have racial segregation. Doesn't sound very good. It's not very good, but it's a step in the right direction. This is no longer going to radicalize the church, so we're going to go to cultural exclusion. And since we switched to racial segregation, we are no longer discriminating against the Irish. It's pretty cool. Here's a secret money-making scheme you might not know about. Go development and go to railways. If your railways are profitable and you have, I believe, interventionism or agrarianism, you can switch them over to government run and you can see your income shoot up. You can see here government dividends is on this list now because those are coming from the railways. Basically, now that they're government run, we have shares in our railways. So we start making some of the profits from those railways go to our treasury. So as long as the railways are profitable and we don't need to subsidize them, then this number should help us out. Sure, China, we can have a trade agreement. Since we're making all that money off the railways now, I think I can actually lower taxes. First war I gotta join is the Defenders, the East India Company. Alright, that was lucky. I can't. Oh, it's because they're my puppet, so I can only join during the escalation phase. Okay, well that was a rough start. The coronation of Queen Victoria. God save the Queen. We're already minus 170 bureaucracy. That's a big problem. We now have cultural exclusion. That was pretty quick. We are currently very low on fabric. Well, not very low, but it's 20% more expensive than it should be. So I'm going to start importing it from the Chinese. The opium export to China is now inactive. I assume they banned it. Well, good for them. Currently our construction sectors are very spread out, so I'm going to consolidate them by deleting all of them, except for these ones, and then constructing all of them, Alt-click up here, so then they will gain the economy of scale bonus. So economy of scale works a little bit differently with construction sectors. Instead of gaining a throughput bonus, they gain state construction efficiency. So since there's 4 levels right here, it's going to get 4% state construction efficiency, which means it can construct 4% quicker, basically. We're supposed to be the nice guys, so I'm going to pick the romantic general. Another war. The Netherlands wishes to puppet Liberia. We cannot let that stand. We do have better troops than them, but we are currently losing because of previous battle conditions. See, Blunder, Duggan, all of them have been like this, so we're losing the first battle, but I think we'll be good after this. See, look at that. We're starting to win. Let's make use of this utterly enormous navy we have and start raiding convoys there and also there. The English culture has become obsessed with tobacco. That's a problem. RIP. There we go. Peace treaty. We have kept the status quo as it is. You know what? I'm sorry about that, Netherlands. I'll improve relations with you. I'm sorry. Dang, Prussia is having a bad day. My romantic demagogue pacifist general wants a promotion. Here, you can have it. Look at that. Queen Victoria has not gotten the bandit trait yet. That's a first. Portugal would like to join our customs union. Well, of course, I can't decline that. So, 2 wars have fired at the same time, and I can't join both of them because the game mechanics don't let you be in 2 wars at once, or at least they try not to let that happen. So I can't, like, put myself in 2 wars at once, so I have to choose this one. Looks like it got set off first, so I'm gonna join this one. It is what it is. Okay, well, I tried my best, but, they were conquering this tiny little state here that I can't reach. And I'd actually set a naval invasion to go here, but they ran out of war support before I could actually make it over there. My income is just going nuts right now, so I'm going to drop my taxation all the way down to the lowest level. Let's also grab a construction sector while we're at it. In true British fashion, I think I'm going to build nothing but food industries in Ireland. Ironclads. Greece wants to send us a general. This guy is an innovative explorer, sure. What HQ is he in? None of them, it looks like. Oh, there he is. Him and his 0 battalions have moved to the Balkans HQ, which doesn't exist for me, so he seems to have disappeared. Well, you know, it was the thought that counts. There's another war, it's just this state, so not too worried. Let's end the offensive planner this time. And I can't. A donation of knowledge. What a wonderful idea. That's another one down. You know, usually I completely ignore like votes and stuff and just look at how it's calculated and stuff. But I'll actually look here. Elections. The Independent Agriculture Party won, followed by the Helite Party. So let's put those 2 in the government. Alright, even though I have to join every war that doesn't on the defending side, that doesn't mean I can only be in the defending side of a war. So I'm going to start invading because these people have stuff that I want. We're about 8 years into the game and I've just about finished the glassworks that I initially put into the queue. The Dutch East Indies are trying to expand again. That cannot stand. Goodbye, General. You know, I didn't think I would be able to, but I actually can during this diplomatic play. Mobilize another general. And look at that, they're already dead. Okay. So, Sweden right now is offering me offers us a war goal of Libya treaty port if we back them, where the Ottoman Empire is trying to take this state here. All of my generals are mobilized, and I haven't been able to demobilize them because I've been constantly at war. Okay, well, Prussia has joined on the opposing side. That could be an issue, but they've only got 28 ships. I think I'm going to be fine. Good thing though, Russia joined us, so Prussia shouldn't be too much of an issue anyway. There's like a whole world war going on right now. Everyone's picking opposing sides. I don't really want to fight the Germans because I might lose, so I'm going to send my generals over to the Ottoman Empire. All right, major war. We should do fine. However, I do think I am going to raise taxes just a little bit. How's the naval invasion going? Pretty well, it looks like. Very well indeed. Our income has gone up a little bit. I'm lowering taxes again. All right, Prussia is out of war. That's good. That means Russia can focus more on the Ottoman Empire. You know, I almost always go for interventionism. I think I'm going to take a sidestep and go for laissez-faire this time. Sicily is trying to puppet Lucca. I believe that's this one. We cannot let that stand. And there we go. I got my treaty port, and Sweden got to keep half of its country from the Ottoman Empire. I don't even want this thing. Like, there's nothing here that I want. There's barely any arable land. There's not even enough space to build a fishing wharf. The partitioning has begun. We have acquired ironclads. That's good, but I'm not going to switch everything over till we have gantry cranes, because then we can switch our ports over to steamers so that we can switch everything over at once. We now have laissez-faire. Let's see if our income crashes. It went down about 20. Okay, that's not as bad as I thought it was though. So I thought it was going to be. So we should be getting more investment pool, but that's not really a problem because we're barely using any of it anyway. So we're going to get more investment pool, and also we're going to have more of that investment pool allocated to private construction. So we should be constructing more privately. Doesn't really look like it though. You know, I did a video recently where I tested to see how effective laissez-faire was, and it was honestly pretty effective. So I'm going to delete a whole bunch of this stuff. Yeah, pretty much everything. And we're just going to let private construction go for a while. And we're also just going to spam out an obnoxious amount of construction sectors. Because currently we're getting 110k in the investment pool every week. And each construction sector spends right around 5k on average. So we're going to have to build about 20 of these more construction sectors to be able to spend all this money. And I plan to spend a lot of other people's money. Another thing I'm going to do is spam out just a stupid amount of munitions plants and also small arms. So then all of our wars will be as cheap as possible. So, and we're pretty much going to be constantly at war, so that should help with our income. See, the Ottoman Empire against Egypt. Now, they just don't learn, do they? The English culture has become obsessed with sugar. Belgium would like to join our customs union. Can't say no to that. RIP. That is the most Egyptian name for a general I've ever seen. I've taken over almost all their country, and the Turks still are just refusing to surrender. Their war score is not going below 100, and I don't get it. Alright, it looks like they'll accept a peace deal. Woohoo. Gantry cranes has been completed, which means that I can now switch everything over en masse. What could go wrong indeed? Now that that's done with, I might take a sidestep and get breech load artillery sometime soon, but I'm not going to right now. Instead, I'm going to get reinforced concrete done. I'm going to get the rotary valve engine and then electrical generation. Looks like Two Sicilies is trying to conquer Lucca. Cannot let that stand, can we? Belgium wants a defensive pact. I wonder how this could go wrong. Look at that, expert offensive planner. We now have public schools. Wonderful. Here's just a little tip. If you want to build a big navy, you should spread out your navy as much as possible, because if you stack, there's no like throughput bonus for stacking naval bases. So if you spread them out, then they'll recover twice as fast as if they were just in one place. That was quick. We now have census suffrage. Mission completed. I've got way more authority than I could ever really need, so I'm going to encourage manufacturing industry in Ireland. And I'm going to encourage the agricultural industry in England. We can build Big Ben. Why not? The Oregon border dispute. The United States of America have proposed a reasonable compromise on the Oregon border disputes. That's this area over here. They proposed that they annex Washington, Oregon, and Idaho while we retain our claims on the northern regions. This did kind of happen in real life, and I gotta say yes to everything, so sure, you can have free stuff, I guess. The rotary valve engine and electrical generation is going to be very important in the long run. However, currently, Like, my private construction is only building art academies because it's profitable. So I'm gonna take a sidestep and go for realism before I do that. After that, gonna go shift click rotary valve engine and then electrical generation. So then private construction can stop constructing private art academies because I'll be able to switch it to this and make twice as much. Universal suffrage. And also the East India Company, I think, is about to form the British Raj, yeah. Good riddance to company rule. So now they become a puppet, which means that they're going to give us a lot more money. I can see that I started making like 40k more. Oh yeah, the British Raj is giving us 62,000 right now. It appears our romantic general is gone. That's really unfortunate. Guaranteed liberties. China wants a defensive pact. Sure, China, you can have a defensive pact. And Russia wants a defensive pact. Sure, buddy. And I'm out of influence. So currently, I'm the #1 producer of luxury clothes worldwide. However, it's still very expensive in my market. So I think I'm going to start importing some so I can just stabilize the price a little bit from Austria. The main reason I'm doing that is just because, as you can see right here, the standard of living has not increased very much at all. And most of the base goods people are paying for are not that expensive. However, luxury clothes is very expensive. So I'm trying to raise the standard of living because currently there's a lot of radicals in the country and I would very much like to do something about that. We now have guaranteed liberties. Woohoo. Now that I've looked at it, it looks like they actually don't have as many luxury clothes as I thought. So this number isn't going to go up much further than it is right now. So I'm not going to waste the bureaucracy on it. I'll just build more textile mills, I guess. Let's put them in Wales. We have finally unlocked realism, which is just wonderful news. We're only gonna make 16 more fine art. I thought that would be more. Okay, let's look at the price, see if it goes down at all. Nope, no taxes. I guess we'll get more throughput. I'll be honest, playing with less of like a strict objective, like I have to conquer this state and this state before this time, and I have to do this and that. Playing with a bit of a looser objective is a lot more fun. I don't know if it's a more entertaining video, but it's a lot more fun as a player. I want to mention that since the last time I tested laissez-faire, I think either it's gotten better in latest patches or maybe I'm doing it more effectively now, but I don't think interventionism is my favorite anymore. I think it's now laissez-faire because we can spend a lot more of the investment pool, which means we can just build more without paying for it. Belgium has left our market, left our defensive pact, and switched to the French one. Now that was just uncalled for. Okay, I've been improving relations with France since the beginning of the game, and it's still minus. It just went shot from -6 to -12. Jesus. Okay, so I'm just gonna stop. If they don't want to be friends, then they don't want to be friends. Okay, Two Sicilies is trying to unify Italy, and America is trying to take part of Mexico. Okay, so there's 2 wars. I can only join one at a time. So either I do this, but the French are helping them with this, so I think this one's already taken care of. I don't think there's going to be a problem. However, if I join this one, then I can improve relations with France, and they'll see me in a better light, which means they'll stop damaging relations with me. Or I can do this one. I'm not sure. I mean, this one is, they're only taking one state. It's just going to be this state, and there's nothing really here. I feel like it's not going to make too much of a change. But this one is going to make a pretty big change if it does succeed. And also there's added benefits. So I'm going to join this one. And look at that. Suddenly they're genial towards us. I actually didn't notice this at first. I think this might be new, but I thought beforehand first aid required opium, but it looks like it doesn't. So that's actually really helpful to know. I've got some bureaucracy I can play around with. So I'm going to use that extra bureaucracy to improve my home affairs investment. I never went for first aid because of that, because opium is such a hard thing to get a hold of because it can only be grown like over here. But since first aid doesn't need that, those are some really helpful bonuses. So I'm going to go for that. Plus, I'm pretty sure fabric and liquor are already pretty cheap, especially liquor. Maybe some taxes because I'm mobilizing everything right now. And we're winning. Look at that. And we're landing in the south. That was really quick. You know, Russia, it's really nice that you want a defensive pact with me. You want to be super nice and friendly and genial with me. However, I really need that influence. So, sorry. Look at that. It's split into 4 fronts. That's very favorable for us. Big Ben finished constructing. I don't know if I mentioned that. Doesn't really do much. It gives 1% throughput to nothing. Gives a little bit of prestige. Gives a little bit of urbanization, but like that's it. I'm not sure how the people living here are getting paid. I mean, this doesn't produce anything, so there's no money being made, so I'm not sure how they're getting paid, but yeah. Let's get rid of taxes again. Don't need them. And we won. That was almost unfair. Well, it was entirely unfair. And I want to see if France stops becoming genial immediately. Yep, now they're wary. I hate this random event. This always happens in every single playthrough I've done. There's support the conservative establishment, which is awful, because a lot of these pops down here are already loyal. So them becoming radical is going to destroy the amount of loyalists I have. And this one is just a flat 5% of everyone in your country becomes radical. Yeah. Go with this one. How did that? Okay, I lost half of my loyalists and I gained all of them as radicals. We have acquired electrical generation. That's going to be really helpful. Currently, I'm really low on coal though, so I won't be able to power those with everything. But as soon as I'm done all these coal mines, I'm going to build some electrical generators everywhere so that I can switch the urban centers over to electric streetlights, which is going to produce a crap ton more services. Plus 10 land trade capacity. Yeah, that's new. Or a better idea, instead of getting steel frame buildings, we get better warships. Monitors. Austrian trade agreement. Sure. So we're supposed to be the nice guys, alright? We're supposed to be the world police and everything. But I'm selling bullets to basically everyone. Our current heir to the throne is charismatic. That's wonderful. Look at that, the North German Federation. Now that's kind of scary, but it's not as scary as the fact that France is starting a war right now, and I have to join it. The thing about that is that they actually have more ships than me, which, you know, not great. However, they are still using man-o'-wars, so they're still using wooden boats, as you can see here. And I'm using monitors, so mine are like significantly better than theirs. Mine have 50 offense and defense. Let's see what theirs have. Theirs have 20. So I think I'll be good enough. Portugal wants an alliance. Sure, buddy. Now that is an awesome general. Look at these trades. 2,000 on my side, 12,000 on their side. And it happened again. Look at that. Should really never underestimate the power of the Navy in this game. It is very powerful sometimes. So I mentioned before that I've been having a lot of problems with luxury clothes. So I think I'm going to invest heavily into rubber plantations because that will allow me to get elastics. That's going to produce a lot more luxury clothes. And it should help with the standard of living. And it looks like we failed, it looks like. Well, you know what? It was worth a try. Now I'm looking at it, actually, it looks like the market price has come down a little bit. So luxury clothes isn't too much of an issue at the moment. And our standard of living has been very slowly going up, but maybe not slow, maybe a little bit too slowly. I've unlocked the camera, which means we can now upgrade from realistic art to photographic art. Is this going to make it? Is this going to make it so that the price of art is going to go down, stop producing loads of art academies? It doesn't look like it. The Americans want to offer us a war goal of Yucatan. I believe that's this state. Yep. If we help them. Well, you kind of initiated this, so I think I gotta do this instead. War with the United States of America is broken out. This is truly the best timeline for Britain. So right now, it looks like if we're going to switch to electric street lights, we're going to need 1,560 electricity. And each power plant produces 50 electricity. You can't see this right now because I don't have a camera. I've actually got like a spreadsheet out right now. And it looks like we're going to need 31.2 power plants. We're only going to produce 18. So I got to get started on that. I like to spread them out just because, like, in my mind, I feel like there should be one in every province. But after you do that, it's better to center them around a certain spot because then they'll get a throughput bonus from the economy of scale. I think I'm going to stack all of them in Wales just cuz. North German Federation wants a trade agreement. Sure, buddy. Time to go and burn down the White House. The Americans have upgraded their gunboats to ironclads. However, ours are monitors, so we still have a significant advantage, especially in numbers as well. So we are obliterating the United States Navy, and it looks like on land we're also doing very well. And look at that, the Americans have given up. We have officially become the world police. We stopped America from conquering Mexico. Wow, it looks like France did not learn the first time. We are now at war with France. It's time to give them the London experience and stab them in a back alleyway. Time to begin the blockade. Jeez, are they even trying? They've got one garrisoned division here. You see, they just know that they're gonna lose, so they're just not even trying. I really need like 4 generals down here right now. However, I'm gonna hold on to one just in case of a French naval invasion. However, I do have the Navy here, and the Navy... Well, actually, I don't have the Navy here, so they could theoretically invade through here, but they'd have to go through at this point anyway. So, since I have the Navy here, they shouldn't be able to reach England, but just in case, I'm going to hold on to a general. And look at what I said. France is trying to do a naval invasion in home counties, and it looks like they're actually winning. That's a big problem. Not sure why. I've got monitors, and they've got ironclads, but whatever. It's because of the commander traits. They're getting plus 40% offense because the commander is direct and an expert naval commander, and mine is just normal. They managed to land with like 61 battalions, and I only had 28. However, I'm still kind of winning though, because they got the difficult landing, and never mind, they're starting to win now. Now this is a significant problem. Okay, conscription time, guys. Now, if I can start convoy raiding in the English Channel, though, that means that they won't be able to get any supply. They should starve to death over here, theoretically. Currently awaiting to naval invade England. And look at that, they gave up. Okay, so I'm gonna learn from my mistakes here. Learn that being the world police requires you to have a much bigger army than your opponents. I have no idea what has happened, but since that war happened, I've gained like 2 million loyalists, and my income has shot up like 65,000, and I'm still at low taxes. I haven't introduced anything new or lowered any spending, so I'm not sure what that's about. Time for more construction sectors then. Russia wants a defensive pact again. No, I've got some extra influence, sure. It's time for breech-loaded artillery, and then after that we're gonna do whatever this is. I don't know how to pronounce it. I can finally get the trade unions in the government. That's big. That means I can get a lot of laws that I very much want to get, such as proportional taxation. I just learned something new. I thought that with construction sectors, if you stacked all of them in one state, then everything that they constructed would get this bonus. However, that's apparently not true. Apparently, it's only this state is going to get this bonus, which I should have figured that out by the fact that's called state construction efficiency, not just construction efficiency. There, we all learned something new, I guess. I'll be honest, though, if you're centralizing all your industry in one state, I'm not doing that. But if you are, 43% construction efficiency is pretty massive. You know, it doesn't mention this, but I think encouraging manufacturing industry makes it more likely that private construction is going to construct industry in those states. Because I put it on Scotland just to test that out, and the Highlands had basically nothing. They had 3 shipyards, all of which I had built. But since then, they've built like 5 textile mills. So I think it does actually have an influence on private construction. We're learning all kinds of things this playthrough. All right, we're starting to get close to the 1875 mark, and we haven't died yet. That's pretty impressive, especially since we managed to resist that French naval invasion earlier. It is time for the shrapnel artillery. We now have proportional taxation. Oh my god, look at the income go up. I just started making right around 100k more. This law is completely overpowered. Who would have known when the rich people start paying taxes, the government starts getting more in taxes? Next, I want to go for regulatory bodies. I've got right around 22 power plants, not near the 30 that I needed, but I don't think I actually need 30. I think it's going to be just fine if I have a little bit less than that, because I only need 50% of it so that doesn't get a shortage. So I'm going to switch every urban center over to electric streetlights. And now services is just a tiny little trickle cheaper. I need to get a lot more motor industries so I can fuel these power plants though, because they consume engines, not coal. I thought they consumed coal at first, but that's not right. They consume engines. Time to max out this construction sector, and you know, I'll max out this one too while I'm at it. Honestly, this has turned less into a world police playthrough and more of me discovering new things about the game. Now have regulatory bodies. Good. Look at that investment pool, minus 193k. That might sound like a bad thing at first, but remember, we've got 144 million already stockpiled there. And you kind of always want this to be in the red. You want to be spending as much of this money as humanly possible, because it's not your money. And the more you save up, it doesn't really give you anything if you save it. You know, I was about to join this war here, all right? But It looks like they've already taken care of it somehow. I don't think I actually need to join this war. The France has already lost. Oh, never mind. All right, well, here we go again. Romantic general, yes please. And remember to keep one general back this time. Here we go again. All right, looks like we're winning on all fronts, and even the natives are actually winning here. All right. Man, France, what are you doing? Losing is what it appears they're doing. They're losing. Machine gun time. Canadian Confederation. I didn't do that. Nova Scotia has turned into Canada, it appears. That's pretty cool. Honestly, that's pretty awesome. Australia has been federated too. That's also pretty cool. And it includes New Zealand. That's pretty fantastic. And once again, France has been defeated. This is honestly just embarrassing. They've got more ships than me. They've got more battalions than me. However, honestly, Britain is controlled by a human, which gives me a significant advantage. 1.5 months away from 1875. Actually, almost missed that. All right, looks like we gotta go to war with France again. This is just getting obnoxious at this point. And the blockade shall resume. What a wonderful looking map. I hope it doesn't get super cluttered when I zoom in. All right, this should be the last war. They're trying to crush the Indian succession that happened right here in Pondicherry, I believe is what the state is called. They're not even defending Africa anymore. Oh, look, we've restricted child labor. That's good. They're not even defending Africa. They've just given up, it looks like. And we are already destroying them. Wait, they're still using some wooden ships, actually. Looks like they've got more ships, but we just keep defeating them because we've got better generals and better ships. They're still using the wooden ships. It appears I spoke too soon. And look at that, 1876, and that should be the last war, and we won. Yippee! There is now an independent Indian state which only consists of this territory, and as Britain, I can't let that stand, but other than that, I think I've completed the challenge. I've done what the challenge said, and I've joined every defensive war possible when I could. It's 1876, and I'm still alive, so I consider that to be a completed challenge. This challenge was suggested by someone in the comments, so if you have a challenge you want to see me do, then let me know down there. And when you're down there, you can consider liking the video and even possibly subscribing if you want to see more videos like this. But that's going to be it. Goodbye.